Talents Discovered. October is our Talents Discovered month. And I'm just going to start us off with a quick prayer. So, Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this day, Lord. Every day is a gift from you. We thank you for the gift of these wonderful students, Lord, that are eager to learn as you're teaching them about themselves and how to, again, apply their talents to the great plans you have for their life. So we know when two or three are gathered, your spirit's with us. So be with us. And we thank you again for Mr. Romanoff taking time out of his busy schedule. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right.
Yeah.
So with your note taking or your paper, the format again that we use, we first have our expert. So Mr. Romanoff will be up first here. And then we talk about a famous person in this career field we're talking about today. You can put on your notes is being a financial analyst and research. And he'll tell us all about what that is. And we'll talk about a famous person in that area. And then we'll be talking more again about our talents discovered. We'll be using our Myers-Briggs personality surveys, see what some of our natural God-given talents are. And then we'll talk about our recognition because today Odin is earning his white belt for his white wristband. So we'll be congratulating him on that and going through all our levels. And then we'll continue for the rest of October in Talents Discovered. So without any further ado, we're going to introduce a dear friend of ours from Raymond James, Mr. Steve Romanoff. Give you a little of the NFL introduction here. All right. So Mr. Romanoff, thank you for being with us. So you're a financial analyst doing research, and I saw your certification. There's CIMA and AIF. Can you tell us what those stand for?
Yes, CIMA is a certified investment management analyst, and AIF is an accredited institutional fiduciary.
Wow.
Big words that mean nothing to anybody on the screen, I'm sure.
But they're going to learn about it today. So Mr. Romanoff, can you tell us what attracted you to this field? How did you get started in this area of financial research and going the analyst route?
So before I jump in, I just want to applaud all of you on the call.
Yeah.
And both you, Jeff and Debbie, for the work that you all do. Character GPS is an amazing program. And the fact that everybody on this call has taken the time to be here and invest in yourselves, I'm just blown away by it. You all should be very proud of yourselves and know that you have bright futures in front of you. And it's just incredible. So hats off to everybody on the call.
We have some great students here. Yep.
So I wish I had a fancy. First of all, Jeff, before I go on, how much time do I have? I don't want to overspeak. And
we have about 20 minutes to kind of talk over kind of your area, and then we'll take a few questions from the kids.
Okay, great. All right. So I wish I had this really, and I'm going to share this story because I think a lot of us struggle with this. I have a 25-year-old daughter who's still going through it. And what I'm talking about is, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
What am I going to be when I grow up? Right? So my story is not very glamorous. I hate to say it. And, I feel that the Lord had guided me in so many different ways. When I graduated from college, which was back in 1992, that's back when tires were square, by the way, just for everybody to recall.
Flintstone.
Yeah, Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, I get it now.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. So I made it all the way through college, getting a business degree, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I asked a mentor of mine, I said, I want to make a lot of money, which is not the right thing to focus on. And we'll talk a little bit about that. That is not my message to everybody today. Okay. Right. And he said, go work for a bank. That's where there's money. I said, okay. So I went to find a job at a bank. And this is a true story. I was driving to a job interview in the summer of 1992, and I was at a stoplight in front of the Raymond James home office.
Ah,
Oh.
And I looked down at the front seat of the car. There's a stack of resumes. And I looked at the building. I said, what the heck? So I put a resume in, and long story short, I got a job at Raymond James. I didn't
wow.
know what a stock or a bond was, but I think the Lord was watching over me. And I took a job that was very entry level, very clerical, and that was 33 years ago. It's the
Wow.
only place I've ever worked.
Wow.
I was fortunate to get a job in a company that was growing and
Yeah.
that had extremely strong values.
Yep.
It provided opportunities.
Yeah.
And this is where I found the intersection of my passion. I love helping people,
Right.
right? With the knowledge that I gained in this business. And when I brought those two together, it just made for a career that really fulfilled me.
That is
And I just know that the work we do is so very to the stewardship of our clients as they
Yeah.
manage their money and they make good, sound investment decisions. So that's how I got my start.
Okay. That's a great story. So,
I've had several different roles at the company. I worked in some clerical positions, just getting my feet wet. Again, when I started, I didn't know what a stock was or what a mutual fund was or a bond. I had to learn everything from the ground up.
wow.
But it was taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented before you that really made the difference. And the more I got into learning about this business, the more passionate I became about the business.
That's
And
great.
then when I really processed it and I thought about the end result, it's not about dollars and cents. Yes, money is important, but money is it's about emotion, it's about security, and most importantly, money is a gift from the Lord.
Yes.
It's a very significant responsibility that we all have, whether it's a little pile of money or a big pile of money, to be a good steward of that money.
Yes.
So that's where I find a lot of passion, that I'm helping people be better stewards of their money. We're
Wow.
not here to make people rich. Yes, we do make people money, of course, and
Yeah.
that's what the ultimate goal is. But at the
Right.
end of the day, money is extremely important. If you read the Bible, Jesus talked a lot about money, right?
Oh, yeah.
He talked a lot about money. So that's where I find a lot of satisfaction in my job, and I have a lot of passion for it. Now, what I do today, I'm not going to get in the weeds because everyone will fall asleep on me and you'll turn off your phones and be like, this guy's boring, never have him back. But we help investors make decisions on how to best invest their money.
Okay.
Okay. It's not about, hey, we're going to buy a bunch of Microsoft stock, or we're going to buy Nvidia or Apple or Nike or Home Depot or all that stuff. It's about meeting with clients and understanding what they're trying to achieve with that money, understanding their risk tolerance, their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, and then coming in and making sure that we're appropriately investing that money within a risk profile. How much risk can you take,
Right.
in order to meet that long-term goal? Investing in the stock market is not gambling. It's not a game.
Right.
Okay. It's all about utilizing the stock market in order to achieve long-term goals. And if I had to break down what we do, that's what we do, is we help people invest their money very wisely. And that means, how can I get a good return for my money without taking on too much risk?
Right.
I'll
That's really
pause
great.
there to see if there's
Yeah.
any questions or thoughts.
No, that's right on track. A quick question for you. When you stopped with your resume, was that at the Carillon Raymond James, or was that down with Jeff Hearn down in downtown St. Pete?
No, sir. That was at the home office. I love to say that we have our international headquarters
Yeah.
right here in St. Petersburg, Florida.
So
So
that's
that's
the
where it was.
Carillon.
It's
Yeah.
in Carillon, off of
Yeah.
Ulmerton Road.
Very good. Okay. So this is again a career that both men and women can be successful in, right? And so you were mentioning about listening to people, understanding their goals. Now, there are financial advisors that kind of meet, regularly with their clients. You're kind of a little bit of the support system for the financial advisors because you do a lot of the analysis of the market, what the trends are. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I like to say we bake pies.
Okay, well, that sounds
Okay.
good.
And then we decide what the fillings are. And when I say baked pies, I don't know if anybody on the call has seen, anything in the investment world, but we all talk about these investment pies, right? What percent of your money goes into stocks? What percent goes into bonds? What percent in cash? What percent in real estate? Well, how do you make those decisions?
Yeah.
That's what our group does. We bake the pies, and it's a very robust, complex process. There's a lot of math behind it, but again, that's not the important aspect of it, right?
Right.
The important aspect is understanding the people that represent those dollars and making sure that we're appropriately aligning the investment with that person's particular needs.
So
And a
that's
lot
being
of
the fiduciary part, right? You're trying to
that's the
help
fiduciary part.
them be
Yeah,
successful.
exactly. And it's funny, everyone thinks, oh, if I'm going to go be a financial advisor, I have to be really good at math, right? I have to know numbers. No. I mean, you have to know how to do math. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. But the real critical component is knowing and understanding people,
Yeah.
listening to people, having empathy for people, and
Yeah.
understanding them. It's really funny. I love this saying. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
That is so important. Everybody wants to be heard, right? Everybody wants to be understood. And look, money is very important. It helps you buy your Roslyn, you bought that drink with money, right?
Yeah.
I'm not calling you out or anything like that, but we all want money. We need money for cars. We want to buy clothes, right? We want to go do things. Money is very important, but what I'm trying to say is it's not about the money, it's about the people behind the money. I
Right.
hope that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah. So
Good.
again, helping everyone to be good stewards of the money that God has given them.
Yep.
And much of what you're doing is kind of long range to, for instance, set them up for retirement. So they have the resources they need to live on when they retire, from their jobs, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's what planning is all about, right? And investing for the long term. That's what it's all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
The power of compounding, where you take $1 and you invest it, and maybe I make 10% in a year, and you're like, well, that's only $1.10. Who cares, right? But when you compound that out over 20 or 30 years, it really starts to grow, because the next year that $1.10, right, is
Mm-hmm.
going to grow to $1.22, and then so forth and so on. And it grows upon itself.
Right.
So if there's a message that I could send about investing, it's you don't gamble with investing.
Right.
You have a plan, you follow that plan, and you stay diligent to that plan.
But that plan is customized for each person and what their goals and needs are, right?
Correct. Exactly, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we tell the kids people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan.
Sure thing.
So, so
Absolutely.
you're helping people to make wise decisions. And of course, with all your research and the work that you do, you're able to give them wise counsel so that they can understand and make good decisions with their money.
I try to. You know.
So again, you said talents is again listening and realizing you're not so much in the financial business as you're in the people business, right?
Yes, sir. 100%.
And then you got to be a learner. You got to love to learn, love to help people, and able to solve problems. Those are some of those qualifications that help you do well. But having a passion for helping people is how you stick in it for 33 years like you have, right?
Exactly. And if I can pause there for just a second, I
Yeah.
want to talk about learning for a minute.
Okay. Because we're going to be talking about that today as well. Go ahead.
When I was your age, I'm going to confess to everybody, I didn't love school. If you love school, good for you. I'm proud of you. I didn't love school. But the older I got, the more passionate I became about learning. I got a bunch of fancy alphabet soup behind my name, but that's learning in my business, it never stops.
Yeah.
It never ends. And it's funny, it's almost counterintuitive where the more I learn, the more questions I have, the more I don't understand. And it's just it's fascinating and you'll never stop learning. Don't ever stop learning. It's so important. Even if you're an expert in what you do, you can continue to learn. It's so important to growing as a human being. So I just want to encourage everybody that, I know if you don't love school, which I didn't, love school. It's a great opportunity. It's a gift. Learning is a gift. So
to be
enjoy.
a good learner and to be curious, to want to learn, solve problems so you can help people. So as teens now, what again could they do to start preparing? You're saying the first thing is to really build a good learning habit, learning skills, right?
Yes.
And then go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And then you were saying the other thing is start getting to talk to people and find out what their interests are. Be a good listener. You could practice those skills now, right?
It's really interesting. I heard a speaker the other day, and how many have had a conversation with someone and you ask them a question? Now be honest, and when they were responding to your question, you were thinking about the next thing that you wanted to say.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. Be an active and present listener. Try very, very hard to ask a lot of questions and really listen to the answers. Really listen. If you want to connect with people, what a more fantastic way to connect with someone than to make them feel like they're the only person that they're the only person that matters in that moment. That will help you make very profound connections with people. So asking good questions, and good questions are open-ended questions. Tell me more about that. Why did you like that? Why did you not like that? Right? And let people share with you. And not only will you learn from them, but you'll make others feel really good. And it's a great way to promote connectivity with other people.
That builds good relationships. All right, well, we're going to open it up to our students. They may have some questions for you now that you've kind of set the table about being in this financial area to help people and doing especially the analysis of the market so that you can give good advice. So raise your hand if you've got a question for Mr. Romanoff.
Looks like Jackson and Odin.
Okay, Jackson and then Odin. Go ahead, Jackson.
So how can I start working for that company?
For Raymond
How old
James.
do you have to be?
Yeah.
Well, I would encourage you to finish your education for
Mhm.
one.
High school
Um,
diploma and
High school, think about going to college. And when you're in college, one of the things that Raymond James offers that I think is an extremely powerful resource or opportunity is the intern program that we have.
yes.
Every year during the summer and the winter month, around December-ish, when colleges are out, we bring interns in. They're paid internships. And
Wow.
you come in and you get to work side by side. And you know what the great thing about internships is, everyone? It's an opportunity, a low risk opportunity to figure out things maybe you don't want to do,
Uh-huh.
right? And as
Yeah.
I started, you don't have to have all the answers today. You really
Right.
don't. But you have to take steps forward
Yeah.
to figure out what your passion is, to
Right.
figure out what your why is, and that's what motivates you as a person. And you don't know those answers, and you're not going to have those answers until you take steps
Right.
and
The
figure out.
testament.
I knew when I was 16 years old, I didn't want to clean the restrooms at the local grocery store for the rest of my life, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. It
Right.
just wasn't for me, right? But I took small jobs. I worked and I had part-time jobs. I did internships, and it taught me, hey, these are things I don't want to do. And
That's
then
great.
it helps you along your path of finding what is your passion.
That is
So
great advice. All right, Odin, what's your question for Mr. Romanoff? Turn on your
Why
mic.
do you love your job?
Why do you love your
Ah,
job?
so what do you love most about your job?
I will go back to knowing that I'm helping people be better stewards of what the Lord has gifted them with. I just it's that
Yeah.
simple, everyone. It's that simple. When you talk to older folks, adults, and they talk about what's important in life, health, family, money's up there, top
Mm.
two or three. So, money is very important. Money can be something extremely beneficial in someone's life. It could be detrimental in someone's life. Having money is a tremendous responsibility. It,
Yeah.
it really is. And when the Lord gifts us with or blesses us with more money, that's a higher level of accountability. And
Yeah.
what I love about what I do, and I love the question, thank you so much, is that I can help people do better,
That's
right?
great.
Be better stewards. Help them plan for college. Help them plan for weddings and generational wealth being handed down from grandparent to parent to grandson, granddaughter, et cetera, et cetera. That's really, really satisfying for me.
That is great. And so again, doctors can help people with their, physical health. You help them with their financial health. So different ways to help people meet their needs. Okay, Diego, you had a question?
What was like some of your difficulties about your job that you work as a financial analysis researcher?
Mm,
Good
good,
question.
good question, Diego. Thank you very much. There's so many difficulties. Um, as much as I love what I do, it's still called work, okay?
Yep.
And you do have bad days, but this is where I'm going to spin this back to how you handle bad times, challenges, and struggles is really a reflection of your character. You
Mm,
know, you're going to work with people and you're going to go to school with people that you love them, but you may not like them very much, right? If
yeah.
everybody can understand what I'm saying, we
Yeah.
have to love everybody. There's no doubt about it. That's biblical. Okay, we have to love everybody, but everyone doesn't have to be our best friend, right?
Right. So
So I
Jesus helped even the tax collectors.
exactly
Yeah.
right. So to specifically answer your question, Diego, dealing with other people sometimes can be a challenge for me. There's a lot of big personalities where I work. There's a lot of very, very smart people. that may not think the same way I do. And I've had to learn to know when to speak and know when to be quiet. I've had to learn to hold my temper, hold my tongue at times, right? But it's all a growing process, and I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and I've had to apologize so many times. But at the end of the day, I think people I work with know that I love them, I care about them, and I'm passionate about what I do. But in short, people
Yeah.
are tough sometimes.
Well, we're actually doing the Myers-Briggs personality right now, so they're learning about how we're all different, and that's a good thing. Jaden, your hand's up. How about a question for Mr. Romanoff?
What classes can you take now that will prepare you for this kind of career?
Okay.
Very good question.
Finance classes. If you want to be an analyst, it's all about finance classes, understanding how to analyze companies, understanding how the understanding the capitalization structure of a company. The other thing I would focus on is accounting. Accounting is the language of business. I will tell everybody on this call, if you know accounting, if you have a degree in accounting, you can always get a job because everybody needs an accountant. Okay. And then the third area that I would say, if you wanted to work directly with the investor, not what I do, I'm behind the scenes baking the pies, as we talked about. But if you wanted to be a financial advisor and work directly with the advisor, psychology classes are probably very, very helpful as well, right? Understanding how people think and trying to manage different personalities and all that kind of stuff, because that's a big part of what a financial advisor does.
Wow, that's some great questions and answers. So we're gonna just stop right here. If Mr. Romanoff, if you have time to kind of stick with us, we're gonna go through the lesson here on their talents, which is gonna hit on a lot of your areas. And then maybe at the end, if they have a few more questions, do you have a little more time to stick with us?
Of course, my pleasure.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this again, thank you so much. So this is the recognition system we have. And Rosalind was actually telling us about her karate, kind of the same kind of, you earn, white belt and then yellow and orange, green, blue, purple, red, brown, black, and up to our highest level, our red, white, and blue is your superstar level. By attending our club meetings and participating, you get up to superstar level, you're going to earn a $50 gift card. But also, again, these wristbands, you can, again, put on your resume that you're in a leadership club and you're gaining these levels. It will be very impressive to, someone who's going to hire you for a job, or if you're applying for college or scholarships. And of course, they're earning community service hours towards graduation and towards scholarships. And then, as we say, membership has its privileges, that when you're in our GPS club and you've been working at your leadership skills, then we will brag on you. So if you need a letter of recommendation for a job, for a college application, for a scholarship, we love to brag on you. And Mr. Romanoff knows I had worked at Raymond James years ago, but in my area, people area, human resources and teaching, I love to brag on people. So that's kind of what I love to do to help people. So I will write some great recommendations, or if people call us up as a reference, you can know that I'll be ready to brag on you. And that means a lot to an employer, because they just see a resume. They really don't know who you are. But when they hear from professionals, their assessment of your talents and your attitudes and the things that Mr. Romanoff was talking about, your work ethic, your desire to learn, these are the things that employers are really looking for. So we are going to be handing out our first wristbands you've earned at our leadership luncheon on Friday, December 5th. And we'll be providing a free, delicious Cuban lunch for you and your parents to come. And in a room of lots of supportive people, you'll be getting your awards and recognition, which really feels good to have that kind of support. So again, that builds your confidence and self-esteem. So now building on what Mr. Romanoff talked about, we're going to talk about some famous analysts, and one that we were kind of interested in. Mr. Romanoff said there were several. We could have gone many ways, but you might have heard of Charles Payne because he's on television. Now, again, he's a great story about that it's not where you start in life, it's where you finish. What you do with your talents and abilities. So he had a rags to riches kind of story. He was born in Teaneck, New Jersey, back in the year I was born. That's a while ago. But his parents divorced at a young age, and his mother and two brothers became very poor and moved to Harlem and struggled just to make ends meet. And so living in poverty, like for Christmas, his mother, wanted everyone to have a good Christmas. Well, she would put gifts on what they call layaway, where she'd put down a little bit of the money and then try to pay it off over time. Well, the Lord blessed her with a Covenant Baptist church who would help her to pay off those layaways so she could give a nice Christmas for her boys. So that church played a key role then in Charles' development with his faith and staying out of the gangs that were in Harlem so he could focus on his schoolwork, the learning that Mr. Romanoff talked about. You got to build your learning, your repertoire of all the knowledge that you can accumulate. So he was the youngest of the three boys in his family. So the older brothers protected him from the dangerous gang so he could stay focused on his schoolwork. So when he turned 17, of course, by 17, he was a big kid. He was 6'1" and 230 pounds. But he enlisted in the U.S. Air Force, where they will help pay for your education. So he went to college and started getting his business degree and learning about what he could do. By 1985, he got his first job as a financial analyst at E.F. Hutton on Wall Street. So that's kind of a famous company, investment firm there on Wall Street. And then in 1991, after his experience learning, from his mentors there, people helping him, he founded his own company called Wall Street Strategies and became an independent stock market research firm. And he was the CEO. He was the head honcho. He married his wife, Yvonne, and they had two kids. And his oldest boy is named Charles Jr., of course. So again, it's not just work, it's family, finding life balance. He published his first book entitled Be Smart, Act Fast, Get Rich in 2007 to kind of capture what he had learned about the business. But he joined Fox News Media that year and started providing financial analysis across the networks because he found his passion, just like Mr. Romanoff. He loved to help people make good financial decisions. He loved to do the research that most people don't know how to do so that he could guide them with great recommendations. So in 2012, then, though his wife, Yvonne, almost died from a heart attack, she needed desperately a heart transplant. And the Lord provided from actually a family friend in a tragic way. They lost a daughter, but provided the heart that saved Yvonne's life. So also in 2012, he became a grandfather. So again, there's life happening. You're earning, a living to support your family as you're also building, again, your ability, your ministry and career to serve others. So then to pay back the people who helped his family when he was poor at Christmas time, the Paynes would find different stores, go in and help pay off people's layaway debts so that they could have a debt-free Christmas. So again, just having a big heart, knowing where he came from, he never forgot the people that helped his family. In 2019, then he wrote his second book, Unstoppable Prosperity. So again, having the confidence, the ability to make these good decisions. So learning the strategies that he used to beat the market, meaning he's making some great decisions to do better than the average bear, so to speak, right? And then he's hosted several town halls, again, loving to educate people, answering their questions, so that they can learn new ways to invest. And one of the new areas is cryptocurrencies. So you probably heard of Bitcoin, right? So again, he became knowledgeable in this new area, and he appears across daytime, prime time. He's on TV a lot now because he's built up his knowledge base and his desire to help people. So now you can catch him on Fox News. He has his daily show, Making Money with Charles Payne, and that doesn't mean he's printing money. He's helping people make good financial investments, right? So you might find him an interesting person, but again, it's the story we keep telling you guys. It's not where you start in life. It's what you do to learn and grow, develop your God-given talents, and be all that you can be to help other people. So that's a great story. And there's many more people like that, as we'll continue to be sharing with you each week. So again, we're working on our talents discovered. We're on the third step of our 7 steps to the highest level, which is teamwork and collaboration. So we've been learning again how to, again, make good decisions by not reacting on your emotions, but slowing down and making them based on values of what's important. And that's what Mr. Romanoff was telling you. Sometimes you have to bite your tongue because you might feel like saying something or doing something to people that are being difficult, but you're thinking about what's the best outcome. What would Jesus do, right? So these are our 16 core values in our program. And when you own to these values, say, this is important to me, then you can learn to practice this, build this into your behavior. So our third toolkit, the Talents Discovered, focuses on encouragement, right? Being a coach, a mentor, giver to other people. When you give learning, you learn more, right? Excellence, to do your best. And of course, respecting that people are different and that diversity is a good thing. So again, when we combine our different gifts, we're stronger together. So with that in mind, we've told you guys to understand how your brain works. Don't use the primitive brain, your fight or flight animal instincts, but let your frontal lobe kick in when you calm down. But remember that it isn't fully developed till you're 25 years old. So you don't expect to make wise decisions that Mr. Romanoff might make. He's barely over 25, but you want to look for the people in your life that are. So again, coaches, mentors, teachers, your parents, right? That can help you make good decisions. So we've been talking about, remember, solving problems. So we've given you a lot of different puzzles, right? This was A to A, B to B, C to C, 3 solid lines without crossing. So when you become a creative problem solver, I didn't say straight lines. So you can find the path that solves the problem. So don't buy in that it's impossible. We can do all things through God who gives us strength, right? So we know that learning is like catching a football. It's a 3-step process. You got to receive the information, you got to store it in that brain, and you got to then be able to use it. So the first step, the receiving, it's so important to pay attention and not be distracted, right? So taking good notes that we've talked about, some of your study skills, being a great listener, as Mr. Romanoff said, this is a skill that's going to help you for life. And then once you're listening, it goes into your short-term memory. We told you got to put it into your long-term memory. You do that by either drilling it in. So like Mr. Romanoff reads, articles and newspapers and, reads principles of success and all that, but also is to teach. So 5 times 5 is 25 because your math tables, you drilled it in. Some of your sports, you drill and practice. But a lot of the great learning comes from when you teach it to someone else. You're helping them, but you're really helping yourself. You're making new neural connections and being able to understand so it's in your long-term memory permanently. So what do we do then if you can't, talk to someone while you're learning, even though you might be trying to read? That might be one way to learn, or hear or see and hear. We all have different kind of preferences to our learning style. But when you commit to become a teacher, you then are able to learn almost 100% and be able to share that with others. So I'm sure Mr. Romanoff in his teaching, he He's a smart guy because he has taught a lot of people. So the key then is to build the habit of learning. So remember, habits we've talked about, it's the automatic repetitive action. So you got to build good habits and break the bad habits. And we know that that takes about 30 days. It's a process. We're not a machine like a computer. You can't just change our program. We have to change our behavior and our attitude. So we have our first poll. So Miss Debbie's pulling up our poll. So we want to ask you, how much are you worth? So you can respond $1, 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,billion, 1,000,000,000,000, or priceless. How much are you worth? So let's see what the consensus is.
If you don't see it, then just type your answer in the chat,
And
please.
you can put in the chat. All right. Well, it looks like we're getting pretty good that everyone's remembering that God made you priceless, right? So what does that mean to be priceless? Well, remember, I kind of did a little demonstration for you. So I'll do it again here just real quick because Mr. Romanoff can see this. So remember, I brought in a $100 bill, took that from our grocery money, but I told Miss Debbie I'd be careful with it, right? All right. And what I did was, remember, I crumpled it up until it didn't look like $100. It looked like a wad of paper that we could just throw away. But if I carefully undid it, it's really crumpled up. But Diego, how much is it worth? What do you say?
Like $100?
It's still $100. Now, again, you can't see me do this, but I could stomp on this. Now don't do this at home. I'm a trained professional. We treat our money wisely here. But Bradley, if I or Olin, if I stepped on this and crumpled it up, it's beat up. Poor, Benjamin Franklin's all messed up. But Owen, how much is it worth?
$100.
It's on it. I go to the bank, trade it in for another $100 because it's replaceable, right? So what we're trying to get across is that money, although it's a great resource, is replaceable. It's guaranteed by its maker to its value. So who makes the $100 bill? Who knows? Mr. Romanoff doesn't print these at Raymond James. Who makes the $100 bills? Odin.
The government.
The government, right, Carla? Yes, the government. So now let me ask you another question. We have a moon, right? How much is the moon worth? Now, I'm not asking you to be a real estate agent, but how many moons do we have?
One.
And can it be replaced?
No.
So, Carla, that makes it
Priceless.
priceless. So then we ask, how much are you worth? Well, you're unique. God made you unique, and you can't be replaced. No one will have the same DNA ever before or ever in the future. You are a unique creation, a combination of talents and abilities. So you are priceless, right?
Priceless.
Now we don't earn. Remember, we don't earn that value. God gave it to us. So if you're having a bad day, you make mistakes. Like Mr. Romanoff said, he's made mistakes, but did that change his value? No, God made him priceless. If the bully picks on you, it doesn't feel good. Does that change your value? No, you're still priceless, right? So no one can change your value. So remember, Miss Debbie learned to play the piano and she's practiced so hard at her talent. And now she's just amazing, right? So I got to cut that short because I get to listen to it all the time, right? So when you practice hard at your talents, like Mr. Romanoff said, you get to the point where you can do something well, you can then help other people with it. So last time we used our perspectives, that we all have different perspectives. We see things differently. So remember in this picture, we saw the old man with the beret, we saw the young lady and the old lady. We didn't argue who's right. It's when we share
the old lady.
our perspectives, we see the whole picture. Yeah. So we did our Myers-Briggs survey, and if you remember now what your comfort zone is, your natural strength, And we see that a lot of them are different, right? So we have to just remember though these 4 dimensions of the Myers-Briggs just kind of help us to see how we might be able to use our talents in different ways. So real quick, I'm just going to remind you the first letter, you can put this in your notes, remember, is your source of energy, or if you're looking in your journey guide in tab 3, talents discovered. So we've got people like Tim Tebow that are extroverts, right? They get energy by all the positive cheering of the fans. But some of us are introverts, like Albert Einstein. He used quiet time to think of the theory of relativity equals MC squared, right? Your second letter is your source of information. How do you gather it? Some people use their senses. So famous painter sensing, and that's a Vincent van Gogh self-portrait. Remember, he's the crazy guy that cut off his earlobe. We won't get into that story, but or we can be intuitive. We use the I for introvert, so N is our intuitive. So again, if you were a crime solver like this sleuth, who is that person? Anyone remember? Sherlock Holmes, right? So he had a hunch how to solve cases. The third dimension is what's right. Some people think it through, use logical reasoning and so on. They might have been in a lot of Mr. Romanoff's classes, or some people use their feelings. Does it feel right? Again, it's not one's better than the other, but the balance of the two, get the whole picture. And then our last 4th letter is the approach to life. Judging, like Judge Judy, making good decisions, planning. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan, right? So, or perceiving people, a little more laid back. So Mr. Romanoff has to work with lots of different people, and he's got to know their personality. So judging people want information given to them differently than perceiving people, but he's still going to help them achieve their goals. So you remember the strengths and weaknesses in ancient Greece, those 16 types fell into 4 categories, right? The guardians that are good at the system, but they don't like change. The artisans that are hands-on. Many of you are hands-on learners, so it's hard sometimes to share your baby, right? Or an idealist, you're a change agent, but you hate repeated problems. And rationalists are very practical. And Mr. Romanoff probably works with a lot of people at Raymond James that are rationalists. They can be kind of skeptical. So you've got to know thyself, right? What's your strengths, what you can work with, and find then your calling in life. What is God going to do? So you remember we said there's some famous people that had your toolkit. So again, you could Google this, look it up, and see how they use the kind of personality toolkit perspective that you have. So it comes down to our action plan to wrap this up. So again, we wanted you to look up, Google your Myers-Briggs and learn a little bit more about yourself, but now see if you could guess at someone else. What would their 4 letters be, right? Because again, you look in the mirror, be proud of who God made you to be, right? God doesn't make junk. So do a little research, and you can give a survey to your mom, dad, brother, sister. And then we're going to help you learn to use these kind of tools Mr. Romanoff uses to help understand the people that he's working with. So we covered a lot of ground here today. Does anyone have a last question for Mr. Romanoff as we're wrapping up? Any other question? Okay, I know everyone wants to get going here. So, Mr. Romanoff, thank you again for being with us. Give a hand for Mr. Romanoff. He's a very busy man, but taking time to help you guys invest in you. So remember, October is our Talents Discovered month. We're going to continue to help you learn who God made you to be. And remember, how much are you worth?
Priceless.
Priceless.
Priceless, right.
Amen.
I have
Great
something
job.
to say.
Hey, real quick, Jackson, hold on. So remember, everyone, write up your notes, send them back to me. So I'll give you an extra bonus hour on your service hours. And then again, do your research using the Google on your Myers-Briggs. Go ahead, Jackson. What do you want to say?
Have a good school week and a good weekend.
Absolutely. Remember, you are talented, you are capable, right? So continue to develop those talents. As Mr. Romanoff was telling you, it's a learning process. Be a lifelong learner. All right, guys.
All right.
Great
Awesome.
job.
Nice to see you
So
guys.
long,
And we'll
everybody.
see you next week. Thank you so much, Mr. Romanoff.
That was
All right.
great.
Good luck, everybody.
All right. Alice, you got a question for me? Alice,
Yeah,
you got a
Alice,
question about the
question about-
luncheon
Yeah, in the chat.
in the chat? Okay, I can give you a
Alice wanted
call.
to know, okay,
All right.
all right.
Oh, there she
Oh,
is.
yeah.
You have a
She was
question?
asking about the luncheon, it's during school.
It's doing school.
Would her school approve it? So the procedure would be have her dad talk to the school or write a
Right,
memo,
or we can write a letter. It's a leadership club. It's a achievement luncheon. So
Not that
usually
long.
schools will let that be excused, but I can type up just a kind of letter give to all the students here.
Well, Greta came last year.
Yeah, so I mean, Turkey Creek last year was all supportive of, most schools are, but we'll be glad to help you with that, okay?
He's a different principal, but not the
Pretty
account.
much they'll accept it because Miss Smith is there.
Well, you can't
Mrs.
invite
Smith is
her, yeah.
wonderful. Hopefully she'll come
She'll
again this
come,
year.
yeah.
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 All right, guys.
All right, awesome.
Great job. Send us
See you.
your notes.
See
All
you
right.
Sunday.
Awesome.
God
Bye. Have a
bless
good
you.
one.
See you
Remember, you're
Sunday.
priceless.
Hey, Otis made his brother there. Maximus.
Was
See you
Maximus
Sunday.
there?
Maximus.
Hey,
Hey, Maximus.
Maximus.
Hi, Aaron Jackson. Aaron's moving.
Oh, yeah, Aaron, we heard that you're moving to a new place. Is that working out okay?
Yeah, we're moving. Hopefully this weekend.
Okay. Well, we'll pray that all goes smoothly for you. All right. Take care.
Thanks.
God bless you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
See you Sunday.
Good church.
Yep. All right.